The unsurpassed, profound and wonderful Dharma is difficult to encounter in hundreds of millions of aeons. I now see and hear it, receive and uphold it, and I vow to fathom the Tathagata's true meaning.
Okay, today's class is very, very Mahayana. Very, very Mahayana. I think it is something very unfamiliar for people who are in the Theravada tradition. The concept may be a little bit more deep and profound. That's why I will go very slowly. Okay? We are taking off the veil behind our ego. Actually, everybody in every sentient being has this thing called the Buddha nature in us. So when we listen to these Buddha nature characteristics, we have to be very open-minded because this is something very new, a concept. Okay? And out of the 10 characteristics being brought into these two classes are actually spelled out in Surangama Sutta, Leng Yan Jing. Okay? It was a conversation between the Buddha and Ananda. Our Buddha nature, of course, is not only confined to these 10, but there was these 10 that actually spoken in Surangama Sutta. And out of these 10, they are 4 are psychic, 6 are applicable. We can use them. Okay, 4 are psychic for us to know lah. Okay. Again, I like to reiterate this one is ourself, right? Okay, so why do we want to go into Buddha nature? Why do we want to understand them? Because do you realize there are many people in our sasana, they practice 20, 30 years and yet their character become worse. Or they have a lot of emotion and the ego become even bigger. Why like that? Because many of these people who tread the path, we do not have a proper yardstick. You know, yardstick, you don't know what is correct and then you just practice and head on. Because we never come back and ask ourselves, are we nearer to our Buddha nature? That's why Buddha nature acts as a very good yardstick for all practitioners. Are we becoming more and more nearer and nearer going back inward? So these are the characteristics giving clue to us that we are on the right track. Okay? Because we see so many people are going off track already. Okay, so let's look at what other sutta talk about Buddha nature. Okay? So, look at this Tai Po Nippon King, Mahaparinirvana Sutta. The sutta said, everyone has his Buddha nature. Yan yan kai yao Phật sinh. The next very important and big sutta, all these are Mahayana sutta, Avatamsaka Sutta, Hua Yan Jing. The sutta said, all sentient beings has the wisdom and quality of a Tathagata. All sentient beings, including you and me. This one is Complete Enlightenment Sutta, Yuan Jue Jing. It says, all sentient beings are originally to be a Buddha. So these are a few I just extract out of the suttas that mention about Buddha nature. And many of which are actually telling us the clue that all of us are a Buddha by nature. Okay, when the Buddha became enlightened, there was the first 3 words he said, surprise, surprise, surprise. Why? Because using his divine eye, he saw every sentient being has a Buddha nature in them, including an ant, ghost, deva, human being. Every one of us has a Buddha nature. So, what is Buddha nature? What is the thing that an ant wants and we also want? What is that? Joy, happiness, free from suffering. This is Buddha nature. Actually, all of us want to go back there. It's just that we are very lost. Very, very lost. Okay? So that's why slowly today we unveil what is the true nature of ourselves. Very, very unfamiliar. So sad to say that. But we are what is mentioned here, even confirmed by the Buddha. Okay? So, why we cannot go back? There are two main reasons why we cannot go back. Number one, because of this craving self. Craving self is the very easily witnessed through our three evil roots. Tam Chan Chi. Because this is the obstacle of agony. We call it Fan Nao Zhang. We got a lot of agony, a lot of trauma, a lot of desire that cannot fulfill. What we want, we cannot get. The loved one left us, the hate ones around. So all these are the craving self. Too much of craving within us. And this craving self is actually our ego. If we can break craving self, if we can stop three evil roots, we become Arahat. The second obstacle is phenomenal self, obstacle of knowledge. Knowledge also not very good thing to us, if you want to go back to Buddha nature. I give you an example. If you see a car, a very expensive car, say BMW, Volvo, all these very big cars, craving self, I want that car because it's very nice. This is craving self. This is the one that blocks us from going back to our Buddha nature. What is phenomenal self? That is a car. A car is a phenomena. That one is also a concept. That one also blocks us from going back to our Buddha nature. So, phenomenal self is slightly more tricky because it doesn't involve our emotion, but it involves a lot of concepts, knowledge. For example, I need to walk on ground. This is a concept, Do you know that you don't have to? But our concept is so hard that we cannot not walk on ground. It's just like time. Time is illusion. Can you live outside time? Space. We can't. All these are illusion already proven by scientists. Don't even need the Buddha to tell you. So we are very locked by all these phenomena. Time, space, direction, left, right, center, up, down, and shapes, location. All these are knowledge. Obstacle of knowledge. With all these obstacle of knowledge, we cannot go back to our psychic. You get me not? Psychic, let's say if you want to go back to past, you must kill time. So this one is another chapter Okay. So if you can break phenomenal self, you become Maha Bodhisattva. Our Kuan Yin, our Siti Gaba, all these they already broke phenomenal self. That's why they become Maha Bodhisattvas. So if we can break these two, we can go back to Buddha nature easily. Because Buddha nature is already innate in us. Right? So, what is Buddha nature? This is ego. Inside ego, when we go deeper, we come to our pure awareness. Okay? Pure awareness, we call it the second moon. Okay, I explain to you why second moon later. So this one, when we do step back and reposition, you are aware what is happening, correct? That one is second moon. That one is not your Buddha nature yet. Okay? Buddha nature is something even inside, more inside than your pure awareness. Buddha nature is beyond words. Okay, we call the Buddha nature the moon. Okay? Why is the pure awareness called second moon? Because the Buddha in the sutta, he said, you look at the moon, that is the Buddha nature. If you press your eyes, you see the moon, there's another shadow outside the moon, right? That one is called the second moon. That means it's outside the Buddha nature, there is a pure awareness. And this pure awareness is not our Buddha nature yet. But at least already very good. It's still a very deep layer that we should make use of. Because we cannot stay in the Buddha nature in a samsaric world. No? Because samsara is duality. You need to live life. So when you live life, you stay in Buddha nature, you cannot live life because Buddha nature has no words. It is all middle way. If I say I, there's a you. If I say my husband, there's a wife. If I say tall, you have a short. There's always a duality in the dream world. Duality is a product of samsara, product of a dream world. So if we come into the dream world, like now we are in a dreamer, we have to live life and interact with others, right? So we need to use pure awareness. You cannot use Buddha nature to interact because Buddha nature has no words. Not even words can mention. Okay? So that's why very hard to grasp. It's not Hong. Hong is emptiness. Buddha nature is much, much bigger, much. Okay, we will come to that later, okay? The concept is very, very new to many of us. But this is in fact what is spoken in the sutta by the Buddha. When we go through, then you will understand why. Okay, so now we take it as the Buddha nature is something inside us, innate. But what we are using every day, even at the awareness level, it is still not Buddha nature yet. It is our pure awareness. Okay, for example, we do one experiment. You know you are listening to Dharma talk now, right? So you are aware, right? So who is aware that you are aware? You aware or not? You aware, right? So you aware that you are aware? Who is the one who aware? Now I'm aware that I'm listening. But I also aware that I'm aware that I'm listening. Correct? So this third layer is actually your Buddha nature. You get me or not? Now you are aware that you are listening to a Dharma talk. Right? Who is the person that aware that you are aware of I'm talking? That is your Buddha nature. Correct or not? 3 layers. I'm talking. Now you are aware I'm talking. And you are aware that you are aware you are listening. That third layer is your Buddha nature. You got what I mean? Roughly. So actually Surangama Sutta is a very interesting sutta. Okay? Okay, what is Buddha nature? Buddha nature is something we have to experience ourselves. Okay? It is something you have to tread the path yourself. It's just like drinking a glass of water. You tell me the water is warm or cold, you have to drink it yourself. Alright? So you cannot understand Buddha nature through academic study, discussion, Dharma talk. Cannot. You must experience. Just like just now that experiment. Who is aware that you are aware? You have to understand, right? So you have to experience it yourself. And it is always beyond words. Okay? That's why even the Buddha explained the Buddha nature, he has to negate all this description. It is not, it is never, it is not like this, not like this. Because you cannot pinpoint a Buddha nature. Buddha nature is a out of samsara product. It's not within this samsara. That's why you cannot describe. Okay? So, the nearest that we can talk about Buddha nature is the be. You know be? The being. The being. There's no to do. You cannot to do. For example, you're doing chanting, you're doing meditation. All these are skillful means for us to go back to our Buddha nature. So they are still to do. Chanting, meditation, doing all the repentance, clearing your karma debt, get that. All these are purely skillful means. Why? Our ultimate purpose is to go back to our Buddha nature. And going back to Buddha nature, we can only be. You close your eyes, you be. You don't do a lot of things. Okay, so that's why it's not so easy to grasp. Actually, going back to Buddha nature is too easier, but it's so difficult. Because we are very complicated. Especially when we are so clustered with ego. The ego keeps blocking us. Ego is very complicated. Okay, you look at what the patriarch has been talking about Buddha nature. Okay, these are some history lah. Okay, the very first patriarch of Zen Buddhism was Kassapa, because it was passed on from the Buddha to Kassapa before the parinibbana of the Buddha. Right? So first patriarch was Kassapa, second patriarch was passed over to Ananda. Right? Then from Ananda pass on. Around AD 500, there come Bodhidharma, Tamo Josi. Okay? So Bodhidharma is the 28th patriarch in the Zen tradition. However, after Bodhidharma, he was asked by his master, which is the 27th patriarch, asked him to go over to China. So that's why Bodhidharma became the first patriarch of Zen Buddhism in the East, China. But in fact, under the Zen tradition, he's number 28. So when he came over to China in AD 500, so he waited 9 years for the successor, for the successor of the patriarch, You remember there was this story, he stayed inside the cave of Shaolin Temple. So he waited inside the cave of this Shaolin Temple until even today, if you go into that cave, it seems his face on the wall of the cave. Because he waited there for 9 years for this person. And this person called Huike, a second patriarch. He was the one who chopped his hand off to get the Dharma from Bodhidharma. So when Huike came to Bodhidharma, Damo, so he asked Damo, I cannot settle my mind. Can you help me to settle my mind? So Bodhidharma said, give me your mind. There is no mind. That's what Bodhidharma told Huike. Huike immediately enlightened. Then when the second patriarch Huike passed to the third patriarch, Zheng Chan. So Zheng Chan asked Huike, I have a lot of sin. How do I repent? So Huike answered him, there is no sin, no bad karma. All these are duality of the dream world. There is no sin, no bad karma. And when the third patriarch met the fourth patriarch, Daoxing, so Daoxing asked Zheng Chan, how to liberate ourselves? I want to be liberated. So Zheng Chan, the third patriarch, answered him, who traps you? Nobody. Who traps you? Nobody. So you see, all these are the answer by the Zen masters. And the most famous one until today is our fifth patriarch to our sixth patriarch. Sixth patriarch is Huineng. Fifth patriarch was Hongren. Hongren, when he was a master that time, he had the main disciple called Shen Xiu. Huineng is only a kitchen helper. He is illiterate and he is nobody. But in fact, he is our sixth patriarch later. So Hongren one day asked all the disciples, especially the main disciple, just write a poem, a poetry, explain what you understand about the Dharma. So Shen Xiu came up with this poem. The body is like a Bodhi tree. Our mind is like a mirror on a pedestal. We must always rub and clean it so that it is free from dust. 身是菩提樹，心如明鏡台，時時勤拂拭， 密使夜塵埃. So when the fifth patriarch, his master saw this poem, he was kind of disappointed. So, but he said, never mind, all the bhikkhu and the monks, you follow what your elder wrote, you practice this one, is very good for you. At least you don't go to three woeful state. This is his answer. What we're doing this, you don't go to three woeful state, but you are far from enlightenment. Okay? So then, after a few days, this so-called kitchen helper saw the phrase, because everybody keep chanting, you see, so keep chanting this poem. So he heard this poem, he said, no, that's not right. So he came up with this. This is Hui Neng. Bodhi is not a tree. Mirror is not a pedestal. Since there isn't anything originally, how could dust be collected anywhere? That means there's nobody one. Okay? So, when the fifth patriarch saw what Hui Neng rewrote the poetry, and today is very famous, 菩提本無樹，明鏡亦非台，本來無一物，何處惹塵埃? There's no place for you to collect the dust. So because of this phrase, the fifth patriarch, his master took him as a successor. So he became the sixth patriarch. Okay? But after that, he has to run for his life because many wanted to kill him. That's why even Bodhidharma already said, 100 years after that, you have to stop the succession, or else many people will die. Because our jealousy, even that time also like that really. Okay? So anyway, so from here we understand Buddha nature is not something we can grasp. It's not something you go and clean. Oh, very nice. This is Buddha nature. No. Buddha nature is something doesn't exist one in this dream world. That's why this is why the Buddha came here to tell us what is Buddha nature. Buddha nature is an out of samsara product. So that's why here we really needed a Buddha. Okay, let's go into the characteristic. So until here, okay lah, this one are all history lah, interesting to know, right? So 10 characteristics of the Buddha nature. Okay. Number 1, Buddha nature is definitely not physical. We are seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, right? So all these we thought it is done by our organs. But the Buddha said, no, it is all because of our Buddha nature. It was our Buddha nature that sensed everything, not our sense organs. Okay? You know why we use sense organs? Because of our delusion. We are so deluded, that's why we need to create this kind of eyes, ears, mouth, nose to sense. The real sensing is the Buddha nature. Okay? So you listen to what the Buddha said. Under Surangama Sutta. A lamp can shed light on objects. But the act of seeing is by the eyes, not by the lamp. Correct or not? Okay. So now, look at how the Buddha nature works. Similarly, just like the lamp, the eyes can perceive light. But the ultimate act of seeing is by the Buddha nature, not by the eyes. You understand? Even in science, when we study, actually your seeing is by the brain, right? It's not the eyes. The eyes is only a camera that captures the images. So your seeing is the brain. The scientists call brain because scientists are materialists. But the Buddha said it is actually by our Buddha nature. That's why you look at even our third eye. They call the pineal gland. The third eye is physical, but once you open up, you are very connected to other dimensions. That's why you start seeing other things. And that's why this one is psychic. If you ask me, psychic is like money. It can do a lot of bad, but it can also do a lot of good. It is only a product. It is not good and not bad. It depends on the person who has it. If you have big ego, please don't pursue psychic. It will bring you to hell, because the ego will make use of the psychic for their own selfish gain. That's why the Buddha never asked the lay people to go after psychic. Until and unless you are Arahat. The Buddha even taught the Arahat how to open the psychic. That's why psychic is not bad. It is the user in whose hand. If you are ready, why not? In fact, psychic can help a lot of people. Look at Guan Yin Nyang Nyang. You see, psychic can help just like money. If you have a lot of money in a good guy's hand, it can do so much good. Correct or not? So psychic is just like wealth, like position, like power, So you ask me whether good or no good, it depends again on the true culprit. Who is the true culprit? I, the ego. Okay? We don't chase after, but in fact, if we purify ourselves to a certain extent, when our I become very small, the psychic will come automatically. This is very natural. So that's why no need to pursue one. Psychic is already there inside us, because inside Buddha nature, the psychic are all there. Okay? So there are 5 types of eyes. This one for knowledge lah. First type is a physical eyes. This one lah. A lot of flaws. You have short-sighted, long-sighted, cataract, stigma, cannot see much. With this physical eyes, you can only see 2% of all things that exist. 2% only. Another 98% we cannot see, Okay? Second, you have psychic eyes. We call Tin Ngan. Or they call heavenly eyes. This one, you can see very far. You can see through the object. You can even see through body and see all the sickness. Some can even see the heavenly realm and also hell, the 3 woeful state. Okay? Then the third one, we call wisdom eyes. These eyes are terror, 3D. 3D means what, When I see, let's say when I see you, I can also see your behind. I see 360 degree. And it sees past and future. Okay? So very powerful, this one. And you can tell future, you can tell past. Of course, past, you can see what was the karma in my past life. And in fact, future can see people like Nostradamus. It seems Nostradamus, he actually predicted 911. 2 firebirds clashed into the city of York. He can actually see the images, but the toughest is timing. Nobody knows what is the timing. Timing is not fixed in all predictions, because timings depends on consciousness of the masses. So consciousness of the masses move, that's why timing cannot be fixed on. No matter how good your psychic is, you just cannot tell the right time. If you want to specify the time, that means that Deva wants to confirm that happening at that time. Some intervention is there already. Or else, just like normal happening like that, actually time very hard to catch on. Okay? Next we have Dharma eye. Dharma eye is eyes that can move object. Using the eyes, we can actually move object. Fat ngan. Matrix, the spoon become like that one. You can do that, There are people who can do that. Okay? Dharma eyes. And finally, the Buddha eye, Fat Ngan. Okay? The Buddha eyes can solve all problems, see through everything, unlimited time, unlimited space. Of course, the Buddha eye. Actually, I also don't know what is that. Okay? So one day when we become Buddha, we know lah. Okay? This one is the third eyes lah. Third eyes are here. Very scary to have also. You may not be seeing things all pleasant, okay? So these are the 5 types of eyes that we have. Okay, According to Surangama Sutta, the Buddha also mentioned 5 hardcore delusion. These 5 hardcore delusion also very interesting. Why it is so hard for us to wake up in this dream world. The Buddha said, originally there was no difference between our Buddha nature and our knowing. Actually, we know everything because of the Buddha nature. However, but due to the blockage of our thick delusions, we have no other choice but to create our sense organs. So no choice, we are blocked by our delusion. So how? But we still want to know. So we create sense organs. Okay? These sense organs work in union with the intention to know. All our sense organs, we work in union because we want to know, right? But with diverse functions in usage. Okay? This one is mentioned in Surangama by the Buddha. Meaning what? Just like us today, I used to be able to remember all my phone numbers very well. Today, with the coming of handphone, and after that you can do storage of phone numbers, can you still remember phone numbers? But we got thousands of numbers in our hand. Why? Because all these are delusions. Speed and abundance are all delusions. That's why we create. Now our memory not enough. We create external memory to help us. It's just like Buddha nature, we know everything. We're very lazy. Okay, we're lazy to use Buddha nature. We create ear, easy to listen. Buddha nature, you need to be very calm and sober, then you can hear. But we are so lazy. This one very fast. So exactly with our gadgets today, the moment we are very deluded, we lose all our ability, our original ability. Okay? Many years back in Australia, there are all these abandoned mines. The mining area, so they abandon the mines. So all these people, when they have kittens, they don't know put where, they throw inside the mine. Okay? Throw inside the mine. So one day, the authority wanted to develop the area, so they cleared the mine off. And they found many funny species down in the mine. Actually, they were cats. But they cannot recognize them as cats. Why? Because all these species suddenly have very big ears, but no eyes. Why? Because the cat, for survival reason, there is no light in the pitch black hole, but they still need to hunt, right? So they use their ear. And because of so many years hunting through their ears become very big and their eyes become deteriorated, no use already. So they are blind. So this species, you call them cat. So another new species came up. So why distorted already? Because of survival, because of conditioning and environment. So they create organs to suit their own use, So it goes the same for we all human beings. Actually, we don't have all these organs. It was because we need to know, we need to survive, we need to, meddle in this dream world. We create all these ears, eyes, senses to able to survive here. So the Buddha already said, actually, we have no other choice but to create our own sense organs. Why? Because we want to know. We want to know. We want to live on because of the desire. Okay? So that's why at the end of the day, we realize actually our Buddha nature is always there. But we thought all these eyes, ears, all these sense organs is me, I. That's why you see a lot of people after they pass away or even near that experience, when the soul comes up from their body, they can still see everything 3D, hear everything from very far, smell everything very clear. Who saw Anita Mojani? Many people saw the video, right? So you check all the near-death experience people, when they come up, they can see themselves. They can see they're at the operating theatre. They can see their relative immediately. There is no time, no space during the Bardo one. So you need organs to be able to do all this. How come when the soul comes up, you can see everything even clearer than last time? Because we can actually do all this with our Buddha nature. That's all the Buddha said. That's why whatever the Buddha said, you match back with what happened. Remember Agni 3 and 5? You can actually match, Yeah, no wonder these people can still see and listen, even when they don't have organs. Okay? So during the Buddha's time, there was this Arahat called Aniruddha Arahat. Before he became an Arahat, he meditated, but he always fall asleep. So the Buddha said, hey, you shouldn't fall asleep anymore. You have to be more hardworking with much more effort. So he felt very guilty and he promised himself he will work very, very hard to meditate. So because of his hardworking nature and he didn't want to rest, at the end, he became blind. Because he didn't want to rest. So the Buddha saw like this. So he taught him a psychic called 金刚照明三昧. I don't know how to speak in English. This one, to give him these divine eyes. After he got hold of this psychic, without his physical eyes, he can see everything 3D even clearer than what his physical eyes can give him. So using psychic, he can do it without our physical organs. Okay? So that's why these are some of the examples. So with this, we know our Buddha nature is nothing to do with physical. Nothing to do with our sense organs, our body. Okay? With the Buddha nature itself, we can know everything. In fact, much, much higher quality. Okay? Next. Buddha nature never moves. Okay? Never moves. This one can use on. Okay? Applicable. Okay, Buddha nature never moves means what? If we live inside Buddha nature, we are protected. We are always protected. But Buddha nature encourages not to move means what? When we see something, we don't chase. Something happened, we don't run away. This one means we don't move. Mandarin we call patong. The Buddha used this example in Surangama. Just like a hotel owner. The hotel owner is the Buddha nature. The guests that comes in and out, check in, check out, are all dust. He called them dust. So you have dust moving in and out. But the Buddha nature, the hotel owner, will just look from afar and never move out from the hotel. But you can have guests coming in and out. It's just like your dust coming into your life and then go out. Okay, but the Buddha nature is always in the hotel. Okay, so you look at what he said. All that arises, moves and sways, they are called dust. The Buddha nature never moves. If one's mind moves according to external instigations, every thought will be subjected to rising and falling. Thus, one's Buddha nature is lost in confusion. Correct or not? If everything we follow what happened, the commotion outside, different opinion, argument, if we are very into it, surely there's a lot of rising and falling. We lose our calm. In fact, we lose our Buddha nature. One thinks the externals are real and thus act accordingly, missing the ultimate truth of phenomena. We don't see things as it is already because so much emotion. One thinks there is an I that possesses these external objects because his mind moves according to these external objects and happenings. Okay, yi mat wai ge. Because when all these things happening around, we thought they are me. Okay, for example, I see my wife, I see my husband, I see my children, I see my properties, I see my own views about life. So I see all these things happening and I react to them and I thought that I am the husband, I am the wife, I am the mother, I am the father, I am the owner, I am the everything. So Because all these external instigators make me feel that I exist. But actually, where's the Buddha nature? So far away. Because of this external instigation, you see. So, one then traps oneself in the cycle and carries on willingly on the wheel of birth and death. Because we like to react to the external world so much. That's why we have a lot of rising and falling, and then one of which is what? Birth and death. Okay, so this is what the Buddha said inside Surangama. Okay, so by right, if we are very moving according to the external instigation, we lose our cool, right? And lose our calmness. By right, we shouldn't move, but just stay watchful. Just watch. Okay, how to be there? There's another question. But now I'm telling you only the characteristic. By right. So when we practice or tread our path, we cultivate until one day we realize not moving and non-action is actually the best. That time you are on the right track. You get me now? If after cultivating 20, 30 years, you are still very controlling, want to intervene, want to pass comment, want to give opinion, that means you are very far from the Buddha nature. You get me now? So these are yardstick. By the time when we practice, I understand so much. I know some people has their own journey. They have to go through. That's why I back off. I don't intervene anymore. I have so much of understanding. That's why at the end, my result is unmoved or not moving. Then you match with the Buddha nature. Actually, this is the right direction that we are going. You get me not? That's why it's a good yardstick for us to do comparison. We give some example on this non-moving. Let's say if a boy and a girl. If a boy like a girl, so the boy will go after the girl. This is called moving. But if the boy like a girl, then he doesn't do anything. But the girl keep running to him. If he runs away, he is actually moving also. Okay? If I like this boy, let's say if I like this boy, and the boy came, I cannot run away. I didn't go after. Start the relationship. Something needs to happen. Something needs to be learned. You get me? Because I'm not moving and yet the things still come. Means I have some journey to walk. Maybe I have some karma debt to pay. You get me? So this is how we live life. Don't chase after, but don't run away. Whatever come, all the challenges we face that, we didn't ask for, but still come, face up. You don't create it, but and yet I don't avoid it. This is called non-moving. For example, if I marry a husband who is very cold, selfish, very harsh to me, karma creditor anyway. So, how do I practice not moving? What we do is that, remember last year we learned the 3 rules of acceptance? Okay? I check myself, have I done my part? I'm already a very good wife. I work and I serve the family. I'm nice to him. I change my tone, everything changed. But he's still very nasty to me. I ask myself, can I leave? I already have 3 children. Sorry, I cannot leave. So I have to accept it as my karma. This is my debt I have to pay to this man. So since already confirmed this is a journey I cannot run away, what do? I chase after means what? I always fight with him. That means I retaliate. I become very aggressive. You like that? I like that. So this is also wrong. I don't run away means what? I don't ignore him. I don't go out and gala and have fun, spend all my money. I don't care. Other one is running away. So what is don't move? Don't move means I live on with this man, continue. Whatever chores I do as a wife, I don't retaliate and I don't run away. I keep on paying my debt. This is the fastest way to see lights, because you are already living inside your Buddha nature. Of course, within that time, there are so many other things to learn. Remember all the 5 skills? Step back and reposition, try to tear. The moment when you see his face like that, you are affected because of the eye that is actually poking me, all these tearing skills. And then from there, you do Ogmi, your vow and motto. From all these, I can live with this husband already. So these are the way we handle life by not moving. Okay? Like a lot of times, even in an office environment, you resign or you don't resign. So you have to weigh, So whether you're supposed to run away from the current challenges you're facing. In fact, I see a lot of people run away from one company to another company. The first running away will constitute the same reason for the second running away. Actually, we should stay on to face the challenges. Hopefully, we can leave a company on a very happy note. For a better promotion, for something I want to learn further, Not because I don't like my boss, I don't like my colleague, all these are you a lot of things to learn there. Don't move so fast. There is always something for us to learn. Until the day we move, is for a better me. Not because I don't like this, I don't like that. That's not the learning, okay? That means we are actually avoiding. Yeah, you bring that along one. It goes the same with marriages. You divorce this round, next round you divorce. You check different people, different scenario only. But the reason is actually the same. Because we have not learned something. If we run away too fast, actually we miss the boat. And we are too aggressive, too, fighter cock. That one also, we create so much of disharmony, worse, more karma debt and karma creditors. Correct or not? So we have to stay on and then see what happens. That's why unmoved means that's where we start to learn. But we stay on with a lot of awareness. Watchful, stay watchful. So all the 5 skills will come in by then. Okay? But today we're not talking about the 5 skills. We're talking about never moves. Okay? Stay on. Until and unless affinity no more, then you can move on. You can tell one. That's why I always ask, can you leave? Can you leave? If you can leave freely, leave. But if you leave and yet you cause a lot of commotion and a lot of suffering to others, don't. There's something for us to learn. Okay? So even like some people like to migrate. I say no need to migrate lah. Malaysia is the best. Don't worry, you just cultivate. Don't avoid. Things will fall in place if we cultivate. That's all. Where else is better? That's why when you are a Maha Bodhisattva 8th ground, Patte Posat, the name for this Maha Bodhisattva is called Patong Te Posat. That means English we call unmoving ground. Maha Bodhisattva can do this Patong Te. Okay? You don't chase after because no more fear. You don't run away, that's why no guilt. Okay? But in order to become non-moving, a lot of times you need to have a lot of wisdom. Why you shouldn't move. So, but this one we are talking about yardstick only, right? Okay, we are inside how to become like that. We have to start all over again with the entire 5 PAT. All the skills will involve. Okay? Even during meditation, those who meditate, when we meditate, you follow all your objects, unless you are very new. But the time when you are more mature, you just stay there and all the objects just keep rising and falling. You just look from your origin, that's all. You don't have to do anything. And by the time when you are very calm and steady, when all your concentration, mindfulness all comes up and your effort all comes up, you will see all these objects start falling apart, crumble down. That's why when we don't move, we can actually see the truth of many things. Okay? So even during meditation, it's the same. So when we move, why we like to move? Because we are very fearful. We want to chase after. Because of greed. We want to run away because of fear. So it's either greed or fear. So that's why we must learn how to stay calm and not move. You know why? Because at the end of the day, upon our deathbed, we become so groggy. The only thing that comes up at that moment is our habit, our mental habit. If let's say we like to get angry, small things like maybe when we are dying, somebody touch us can be very painful. You get very angry. You know, anger will bring us to hell realm because we always react to external instigation. We are never unmoved. We are always reacting. Okay, so is greed. So upon that bed, you see something, your craving comes up, you will chase after, and chase after will bring you to another woeful state, maybe ghost realm or animal realm. So that's why practicing unmoving in the mental side actually helps a lot, because during our deathbed, the only thing left with us is our mind. That's all. One master said, even you want to chant Ami Tuofo, also you cannot do it. Forwards also you cannot handle. So it's better to always stay at this mode that, don't react so quickly. Okay? So, tell you one story. This one is during the patriarch Huineng, his time. So there was this monastery. The monks were seated there, so wind were blowing. Because the wind moved, the flag also moved. So the abbot asked the junior monks, what is moving? Is it the flag that's moving or the wind that's moving? So the monk A said, the flag is moving. So B said, who said it's the wind that's moving? If the wind don't move, the flag will move. Then A said, you crazy? If the wind is moving, how come the mountain don't move? So then after that, Master Huineng came. He was only a guest that time. So he came. He said, dear monks, actually what is moving is not the flag that's moving, it's not the wind that's moving, it is your mind that's moving. Like a samtong. Because all that we can see are actually creation by the mind. The mind actually is still not the ultimate. Actually what you can see or everything is actually the Buddha nature. I would tell you what is Buddha nature. Come the next one, okay? So what is moving? It is the mind that's moving, not any external object. Okay? So come next one. This one's simple, okay? Buddha nature never extinguishes. This one is a view. Our Buddha nature never diminish. It's always there, okay? Because inside Surangama, there was this king by the name of Pasenadi, Posli Wang. That time he was 62 years old. He actually told the Buddha, he said, see, I'm dying really. See, last time I used to be so healthy, so strong, so vibrant. Now I'm getting old. I'm dying already. Okay, so this is what Pasenadi told the Buddha. And the Buddha said, do you know that there is something within you that never dies? 於之身中又不滅也. Though your face will wrinkle, but your awareness will never be worn out. Some of this is only pure awareness, not even the Buddha nature yet. Anything that wears out is subjected to change, and vice versa. Anything that changes will extinguish. That's why our body will extinguish one. But this unchanging thing is our Buddha nature. It has never arisen and has never fallen. It will never extinguish. This is what the Buddha told King Pasenadi, and from here, it is a very big clue that we never actually die. Okay? The Buddha said, you don't die, friend. The one dying is a physical body only. Remember, we also said, right? When we die, body gone. But what carries on? 6, 7, and 8. our tendency and our karma, our 8th consciousness and 7th consciousness will carry forward to our next life. This is even proven, not to say proven, I don't know whether they have called it proven. It's already a known thing that we are holographic projections, right? And holographic projections means what? All information we gather in our body, in this body, actually this information is stored as a 2D outside us. The scientists call it universe. And we can vanish, we can die, whatever. But all this information is not lost. So when moment comes, they get back the information from this 2D, and then we can reassemble that person out. That's why you know one piece of paper, let's say this piece of paper, if I extract this out, extract this part out, just one torn part out, I can actually extract the whole content of this paper. This is called hologram. Hologram. So actually already proven that we don't die because all our information still intact one. They call it information. We call karma. Your 8th and 7th consciousness. Okay? So that's why we don't actually die. Right? That's why you look at our people around us. A lot of old people, they are still very bright, know how to love, how to feel hurt. Many years back, I have a friend, he told me, husband and wife in the 70s felt very boring. So one day, the wife fell in love with the first love, which is the cousin. So the wife came to the husband and say, I want to divorce you. I want to marry my first love. 70 something, this auntie. So the husband say, no need you go So true enough, 2 months later, she packed everything, came back. So the husband also accepted her. So my friend say, Aiya, so old already. Aiya, never mind Nothing very hurtful already so old. I say, are you sure? 70 something don't feel hurt when you are being betrayed. You think your feeling is like your body worn out, you don't feel anything. No. So then after we go and find out, true enough, after the wife came back, the husband treat the wife so badly because who asked you to betray me? And come back. So that's why I say, even old people, when they are hurt, they are just like young men. We are still very hurt. Why? Because our Buddha nature, we never grow old one. Old is only physical. Okay? So, this one is quite simple, that the Buddha nature never extinguishes. But simple but carry a very important message that we never die. Okay? Nobody dies. The next one, we'll come to this one. This is the part which is very interesting. Buddha nature is never lost. It's never lost. However, we are so ignorant about it. Until we need a class like that to tell everybody, hello, you got Buddha nature, So sad, We have to have a class to tell everybody, that you have a pearl inside you, Okay? So, this Buddha nature is never lost. It's always there. This also carry another very important view. Don't to do. You have to come back. Okay? Means what? Everything is inside. There's no something we can chase after like a nibbana like that. No, nibbana is not outside. Once you're back to the Buddha nature, you are there. So everything come back. Okay? All these are skillful means for us to get back into our Buddha nature. That's why everything look inward. All your answers are inside. No need to chase outside. Okay? However, we are very distracted because of this ego thing. This ego, this I, remember this balloon? This ego, this is the real culprit. He is the one that actually create a lot of concepts and make us thought that this is me. my name is this, I live where, I have a house, I have a car, I have this view, I cannot be like this, I must be like that, I should be like this, I shouldn't be like that. So all these are actually distracted us from our real, true, altruistic nature, our Buddha nature. The Buddha called it very, very inverted views. 顛倒想. I want to explain this concept. This is very interesting. Who actually created ego? All this ego concept, everything I see, actually who created it? Actually is our Buddha nature. What is a Buddha nature? Buddha nature is like a empty stage. You can do anything on the stage. Draw anything. Up to you. It can be positive, it can be negative. This is your Buddha nature. We call it the eighth consciousness. Mandarin we call 如来藏. 如来藏, it is a stage. It has no positive, it has no negative. It's up to you what you want to write on it. Okay? That's why anything you create is possible. Because this stage is of infinite potential. Anything. You can be a Maha Bodhisattva, even a Buddha. Or you can the worst hell being. No problem. The stage allows you. Because the stage is an empty stage, up to you to define. Okay? So, that's why this stage is never lost. It's always there. What manifests in our life is actually the content of the stage here. Who is acting you everything you see because you want to create the Buddha nature allows you. That's why the Surangama said the Buddha nature allows 7 things to happen there. 地火水風, earth, fire, water, wind. Okay, these are material, emptiness, home. I'm already at 4 elements and emptiness plus views, kin. Views means concepts and consciousness. 7 things you can put onto this stage. When you talk about these 7 things, everything already, right? 4 elements plus emptiness plus concepts and views plus consciousness. Okay, so this is the stage that is supported one. No, this is the 如来藏. If we can shut off everything, even this stage is an infinite intelligence and it's everywhere but nowhere. That is your Buddha nature. You go back as one. You know everywhere but nowhere. You can go back. If you take away all these things, you join back these oceans of intelligence, which is of infinite potential. That's why you are a Buddha. The Buddha already said you are. But we just cannot believe. Okay? This stage is very much like your eyes. Your eyes, you see everything with our eyes, right? I see the building, I see people, I see my spouse, my family members, I see happening. I say, okay, you see everything. But can you see your eyes? You don't use a mirror lah. Can you see your eyes? You cannot see lor. Buddha nature like that lor. You create everything. No, you see everything. Wow. And yet, who is seeing? Your eyes is seeing. So is Buddha nature. So near and yet so far. So far and yet so near. So all the Mahayana Sutta always like that one. They say yes and no. No and yes. So very interesting. Very interesting. It's really a game up to you how you want to play it. But you must know the rules lah. Okay? So even the patriarchs said, 可其自性能生萬法. Everything created by the Buddha nature, including our friend, ego. And all that you thought is you. All is because of the manifestation of Buddha nature. Okay? So you look at what the Buddha said about our Buddha nature never lost. As I always say, all these phenomena, the affinity between matter and mind and their relations are the creation of the mind. The creation of the mind is the sum that create. Okay? Eventually he will tell you it was the Buddha nature. Okay, what do you mean by affinity between matter and mind and their relations? Is matter can be my body lor, me lor. Ngo, myself, is a creation. Ngo nang, my ability, what I can. This one and ngo so. Okay, this is me, okay? This is my ability, my view, my whatever I can do. And this one, what I belong. All these are the manifestation of my Buddha nature as well, including all that I can see, I can touch, I can smell, I can feel. Okay, for example, including mountains, land, sky, universe, planets, trees, grass, flowers, buildings, human being. Do you know that all these are creations by our own mind? Actually, they don't exist one. No? So scary. So you know why the Buddha said inverted views, 180-degree inverted views? All these don't exist. But the next question you should ask, how come I see, he also see? Same thing what? You know why? Because of yip leg, karma, karmic debt. The karma, yip leg. Because of the same karma, we came to human realm. The same realm, that's why we seeing each other like that. Because of the same karma. That's why you see, ghosts see us transparent one. Actually, they cannot see us. Or the deva see us also transparent, or some of them cannot see us. Because different karmic debt. Karmic debt carry very heavy weight in our life. Okay, that one is another part of the story. But anyway, the Buddha said, all these are the creation of the mind. Okay? Both your body and your mind are the creations of the Buddha nature. Your body and your mind, your belonging, your whoever, what you see, what you think, your concept, everything, it is the creation of our Buddha nature. You thought you are awake, but in actual fact, you are in the midst of delusion. Very, very deluded. That's why we thought everything so real. Okay? We thought everything so real. Do you know that they all look at us like cartoon? Just like when we are watching a cartoon movie. The day I was watching this Nerja, very good movie. I look at the cartoon inside, I think to myself, that's how the Mahabodhisattva look at us. We are also like cartoon. Serious. Actually, we come here and learn, and then that's it, go off. Because our body dies off one, but not our 6, 7, 8. Okay? It is one's mind that is confused. One's mind is ignorant that both one's body and the world outside are the creations of the Buddha nature. Okay? So, everything is the creation of the Buddha nature. And then the worst one, this one. So sorry to say this. One's Buddha nature is like hundreds of thousands of huge crystal clear oceans. And yet, one has discarded these oceans because one thought all that one is merely one of the bubbles of the oceans. We are actually oceans of intelligence. This is the real us. But we throw away these oceans of intelligence, crystal clear, so powerful, full of potential. We throw away all this, and we take one of the bubbles and we say, this is me. We take the bubble and say, this is me, Do you know? You are a very clear 100,000s of oceans we throw away, But we take upon one little bubble and thought this is everything. This is me. This is Chin Chiu. This is everything that I have. So bad. Actually, we are very great, but we forgot. We forgot. Okay? That's why you can see so many miracles in life. So many incapable or maybe crippled people, they can still do wonders. Why? Because all of us can. With this, the view is what, actually what you want to achieve, we can one. Especially mentally. If we really want to practice and walk the journey of the bodhicitta, want to become a Mahabodhisattva, want to become a Buddha, we all can one. Don't always use this word lah. We all human ma. Sorry lah. So you only take that bubble. The ocean you don't want. The 100,000s of ocean you don't want. The Buddha already said. Okay? So because of this, actually we don't need to learn to be a good person. We don't need to learn to be kind, compassionate, don't need to learn the 4 Brahma Vihara. No need. All this is already inside you. All we need to do is to take away the I. That's all. Take away the 3 evil roots. That's all. That's why a lot of people say, why your 5 PAT only talk about bad things? Because it was all the bad things that cover up all the good things. You no need to talk about the good things. The good things all come shining out the moment we discard all the negative side of ourselves. The only culprit is the I. That's all. Okay? So we are actually innate with all these tremendous superpower. Even psychic is already inside. How come when we go back to our bar door, everything comes up? Because at bar door, our physical body gone. At least you can taste a bit of the Buddha nature. Okay? So with this, this is a very important view. And for example, you see some miracle things happen. Like in America, there was this lady. She was so distraught when the son was accident. The son was underneath the car. She forgot about all concept. You know what happened? She could lift the car up with one hand and took the son out. You can reach all these. Go back to your Buddha nature when all concept disappear. But that lady was because she wanted to save the son so much. She forgot about everything. She forgot that the car is very heavy and she is only a woman. She cannot lift the car. If you can do away all this, you can do wonders. Just like when I think I don't need to walk on ground, I can fly. But you must deeply believe you must deeply believe. Because we are only cartoon. We're so heavy, all the delusion of our consciousness. Our consciousness make us feel very heavy. Actually, this weight is not real. Because we thought it's like that really. Last time when I was very young, 6 years old, I was chased by a dog. I saw myself flew over a drain which is about 5 to 6 feet wide, So I flew over. After that, I look back. The dog look at me, I also look at the dog. The dog also cannot fly over. But I could, 6 years old. Then I think to myself, what is that? Because I forgot I'm only 6 years old and I forgot this is 6 feet. So I just went all the way. So that's why all these miracles can happen. You know why? Because at that very moment, all your concepts drop. Then you see miracles. Why? These miracles, behind all these miracles, are actually can be done because of our Buddha nature. Okay? Okay, last one. Number 5. Buddha nature is suchness. This one is applicable, can use one. Okay? Okay, let's do an experiment. This is not my experiment, this is what the Buddha did, okay? I only duplicate. Okay, Can you hear? Can Can you hear? Hear? One more time, Can you hear? When I hit the bell, You can hear, right? When I didn't hit the bell, you say you cannot hear, right? That means you are using your ego to listen, ego. By right, if you use your Buddha nature to listen, when the bell rings, you hear the bell. When I don't hit the bell, there's no sound, right? You can still hear, but you hear no sound. You get me or not? That one is your Buddha nature. Buddha nature hears, but doesn't mean that he has to hear something instigated by external object. Okay? So remember this simile, this simile. So it's just like when you see lights. So you say what? I see lights because it's morning. So at night, pitch black, I don't see anything. It's not that you don't see, but you see darkness. That one is Buddha nature. Okay? So, but we always use ego to react. We don't use Buddha nature. Okay? So you see what the Buddha said, When one ceased to be in contact with all affiliated sense objects, okay, one could not detect the difference. When there's no ringing sound, one thinks one hears nothing. This means one's ego is at work. Just like just now that, example. One should, however, not be affected by the sound and yet remain hearing to know the difference. In this respect, one's Buddha nature is at work. So that means all the time we must be ready to open up ourselves for suchness. We don't react to external phenomena by equating them with something we thought it is, with duality. Okay? Brightness came upon due to the sun. Darkness came upon due to the moon. If one reacts to brightness, one would not see darkness when night falls. Okay? The Buddha nature does not react to brightness or darkness, even though two are of difference. That means when something happens, the Buddha nature will not equate it to good or bad. It is just phenomena. But the Buddha nature knows this phenomena is happening. Okay? So, maybe we can use some example. Okay? Just like the hotel owner, right? The owner is seeing all the customers moving in and out. But the owner is just seeing with watchful eyes, that's all. He will never leave the place, and yet he will never dabble into what is happening. He just stay aside and then watching only. But he knows exactly what is happening. Okay? Only seeing suchness from afar, never drill into and react to the situation. This is our Buddha nature. When I study the sutta, it reminds me one of our very important skill, which is step back and reposition. Actually, you are using suchness already. Wu Huan, we call it Wu Huan. Wu Huan means what? No transaction. We don't transact. Every time something happens, we transact. Every time something happens, we transact. Huan means returning. So when something happens, we take it upon us and then we react. That one is no longer Buddha nature. That one is ego. That's why so much of intervention, controlling, so a lot of this kind of thing happening around. Actually, they are all ego at work. So a lot of times when we are at suchness, we are actually watching the big picture from afar, knowing all the differences. It's just like when you're listening to the ringing bell, you actually know that there is no sound only. You know the difference. There's sound and there's no sound. You know the difference from afar and you look at them as suchness. That's all. Okay, this is the Buddha nature. Okay. The summary of it is like, when you are at Buddha nature, we don't drill into all stories that instigate us. Okay? That's why you Wu Huan, you don't have transaction. You don't drill into it. And yet, you know what is going on. You know what is going on from the big picture. Very good, right? I know what's going on. I don't drill into it. And yet, I am not in the dark. I know everything. Okay? But I'm not reactive only. This characteristic of suchness works very well with never moves. That's why a very wise person usually are not very reactive one. Mentally, mentally. Okay? Like for example, we give some example easier because this one application, right, can use. Let's say one day my husband came back and told me he actually quarreled with the mother. When I'm not in the Buddha nature, using ego, I will actually join in the conversation and started to either scold my mother-in-law together or scold my husband, say, you damn stupid, why you like that? Correct or not? We are inside the story already. Okay? But if I apply this suchness, okay, this characteristic, Wu Huan, okay, I will stay afar. I know my husband had a quarrel with my mother-in-law. Okay? I know. I'm staying afar. I don't drill into all the stories. But from afar, I know my mother-in-law has been very harsh with her words. And my husband also very sensitive. So I stay afar. So I do the pacifying job. That's all. And this one is Wu Huan. You can use it. Don't react. Don't go inside. It goes the same with all our past hurt, our past memory, our abandonment, our bully that we suffer when we were young, or maybe some betrayals by our partners or our business partners, our spouse, or maybe even cheated by somebody. So when you are always into the story, we are actually very hurt. So all we need to do is to pull ourselves out, okay, using suchness, seeing from afar. Yeah, this thing does happen. It's not that I try not to look at it, Yeah, so what, it happens. I know from afar. I'm not going to drill into it. I stay outside. So when we stay outside and we're not so emotional, a lot of wisdom can arise. We can actually learn out of all this. All this what happened before. Okay, so this Wu Huan is very much like our stepping back and reposition. Not difficult for 5 PAT people to understand. As long as you step back and repositioning, you're actually seeing the whole big picture, know what is going on, but you are not reactive. This is really Wu Huan. This is really seeing suchness. Why some people, the feedback said, hey, this is very good, at least I'm not affected, I'm not so emotional anymore. Why? Because you are already under the protection of your Buddha nature. So step back and reposition. Once you apply, you are actually using Buddha nature. When we stay inside Buddha nature, we are protected one. Okay? Because Buddha nature has no emotion, no positive, no duality. You are actually out of samsara. So temporary step back and reposition are all the mini awakening that actually save us from all this struggle, commotion, all this emotion thing. So lastly, this is from Platform Sutta. Platform Sutta is the only sutta spoken not by the Buddha but recognized by Mahayana. Okay, all sutta has to be spoken by the Buddha. Only we are called them a sutta, king. Okay, but there's the only one sutta that is not spoken by the Buddha. Is called the Platform Sutta, that is being recognized by the Mahayana community in the world. Okay, Lục Châu Tan King is actually spoken by the patriarch Huineng, 6 patriarch. Okay. So inside Platform Sutta, Huineng said, one should always use one's senses to know, but not to create mental activities. Okay, that means we should know. We must use all our sense organs to know what is going on. Okay, but do not equate all these with good lah, bad lah, duality. High lah, low lah, right and wrong. This is positive, this is negative. No, we must know only what is happening. Okay. One should know the differences in all phenomena, but not react to these differences. Okay? The patriarchs said, this is the way to apply in our life using suchness, easily understood through your step back and reposition. Okay? So until here, there are altogether 5 that we discussed today. Okay? So these 5, out of which one is psychic, another 4 actually you can use. Alright, the applicable one you can use it in life. Another one, 2 views actually help us to understand. One, we never die. Okay, another one, we are highly of infinite potential. Okay, see whether you want to use or not only. Alright, so applicable never moves and suchness. This is how we deal with people. Alright, so at the end of the day, all these become the yardstick of our practice. So the more we become never move, the more we become confident in our life, the more we are not fearful of death, the more we are stepping back and repositioning with suchness, that means you are on the right track. The most important one, always check the ego. See whether the emotion still a lot or not. And the ego still very big or not. If ego very big, I don't care what master you follow, how many sutta book you study, how many session of meditation you did, what kind of chanting, sorry lah. Because the yardstick was forgotten. Yardstick very important, no? Correct or not? Whatever we do, we must check whether we are on the right track, right? Or else we were actually easily swayed by the world values. So, okay, until here, anybody want to ask me any questions? Because the next lesson, we're going to complete another 5 more. Yes?
Can we apply the Buddha nature number 2, never moves, and the Buddha nature number 5, suchness, when we are watching TV or when we are on social media, like watching YouTube, maybe Facebook? Thanks.
Of course, all these are actually at the mental level. So when you watch social media, especially talk about politics, you look at the way we react. Sometimes we got very angry, very worked up. All this because we are being moved. Okay? And there is no suchness. A lot of good and bad. Okay? So when I watch all this, I am not going to be affected. But I will watch very angry, you got reaction, okay? But all this reaction very short. So that you remember what happened. Then when you go to coffee shop, you talk with your client, your whoever, there are conversations. So you still talk about conversation. Okay? But these are for living life and having conversation and having some relationship with people. Or else you become very boring if everything also you don't have any reaction. You're very cool, very holy. Hey, that's not life lah. Pretend you are not affected. We deserve whoever is governing us. We deserve one. Okay, you look afar. We deserve one. We made mistake, we deserve. Never mind. But when we hear angry, go and talk. Actually, this one is to play up life. So that your client like you. So that your friend find you very interesting. So that you got very good human relationship. So that you are knowledgeable. Because you live life, you cannot make yourself very boring, I tell you, bodhisattvas follow the world. But you want the bodhisattva to feel sad, very short while. Sad, immediately bounce back one. That's why I say, remember the 4 emotions? We do not arise attachment, but we can taste. Taste. You taste, but you don't attach. I like that lah. So we can use never moves and suchness in everything as long as it affects your emotion. Some more.
Okay, Sister Carol, I'm facing this problem in my work because my company, they are losing a lot of money. And one way to so-called rescue the company is to downsize the employee. So people all over the company have been saying that my department, the headcount is very high and I'm under pressure to reduce the headcount in my department. So the question is, I don't want to make anybody lose their job because it's their livelihood. First of all, will I create a bad karma for myself if I were to fire somebody? But if I were to do nothing, never move, then people will say, this fella, the head count so high, still sit there, do nothing. Is she sleeping or what? So what am I supposed to do?
Because you are being instructed, ma. So once you are being instructed, you have to do it, no? And there's no karma lah. The karma is actually this is the karma unfolding that economy is bad, and somebody got to go through their own bad karma. So you are doing what you're supposed to do because you are seated in the position only. Unless you kick away people that you don't like. That one bad. That one got karma. But if I have to, then I weigh all the list and then I find that, to the best benefit of the company, these few got to go. So there's no bad karma. Right? Number 2, situation like that, you cannot say you don't move because something come already, you have to react. It's not that you go and chase after, and in fact, if you don't do, you are avoiding. It's just like the falling in love, that one. If the man that I like comes to me, I have to go in. I know something, I have to learn there. So maybe this is a learning journey for you to know how to say no to some people who is very pitiful. But what to do? Sometimes this kind of thing happen. It is to clear off some karmic debt for some people. So this is life. Okay.
Just now you say the number 6 one.
Number 6. Which one number 6?
踏摩落嚟。
6 okay, 6 patriarchs.
最尾嗰個
慧能。
He know how to write and how to read 咩？
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
唔識讀唔識咩咩都唔識。
But he speaks. He listens and he speaks. But he cannot read and he cannot write. That's why he asked one of the guy there to write down for him.
That's why everybody look down at him.
Look down. I think he is a Maha Bodhisattva that came to teach all of us one thing. A person who is very ugly, illiterate, very poor, only a woodcutter can be so wise. It's actually a message. It's just like the Buddha came. A person who is so rich, a prince, somebody of high ranking, high position, can throw away everything for the Dharma. All these are messages, In fact, in Mahayana, all these are actually act out for us, the Buddha, you have Ananda, Kassapa, all of them are Maha Bodhisattvas. They are not monks suddenly become Arahat. No. They are Maha Bodhisattva coming down here to show a movie for all of us. Imagine Sotapanna like Ananda can have photographic memory like that. I think he's definitely a Maha Bodhisattva. But anyway, inside Lotus Sutra, the Buddha already said they are all Maha Bodhisattva. They are here to put up something for all of us to learn only. So this is what the Mahayana believe. Sorry.
Yeah, Sister Carol, just now you mentioned about the Buddha nature. If I hear you correctly, you say that ego is also part of Buddha nature. So I just thought that, so ego is there. It's part of it. So how it's a byproduct in the Buddha nature.
It's a product allow you to start ego.
Okay.
That's why if you don't have this platform, don't have this empty platform, you are not even a being. You are not even a being. Maybe you are a chair. As long as you are a human being, or not human being, a being, a sentient being, even an ant Okay? You will have this stage. So with this stage, what do you want? You want to create a very big I or very small I. Can? That's why these I are not real one. Everything on this platform, this stage are not real. Nothing is real. The only thing real and permanent is this Buddha nature.
So you're saying is that there's no way that you cannot not start with ego. You have to. Everyone, sentient being, will start with
Correct.
ego, and along the way, it depends how we fit our ego, right? So whether we actually make it bigger and bigger, or we realize that and we tame it, and just accepting that yes, there is ego in us. Yeah. So that because I realized that it's with that understanding you mentioned, it's already part of it. So sometimes that you don't have to be guilty of being ego, right?
Okay, ego, right? Even a Mahabodhisattva, when they come into this dreamland to play the game, they have to have ego, or else how to talk to you? You get me not? Okay, whether the ego big or small matters. When our duality very big, your ego very big. For example, I see high, I want high. I don't want low. I kick the low away. So the vast difference between duality makes the ego very big. However, for a Mahabodhisattva, they come in with very small duality. They know what is high, what is low. But to them, they are very close. You get me not? It is still differential because duality is a product of this samsara, of this dream world. You come to dream world, you cannot not have duality one. Or else you are out of samsara already. So the moment we start to enter into this dream, duality comes in. Duality comes in means got ego already. You get me not? So this ego thing, big, you suffer. Small, you are very, very safe because anytime you just nullify it, you go back to your Buddha nature, empty the stage. So that's why ego, you cannot say you're not guilty of it. If your ego very big, then guilty lah. Actually, no need to guilty one. You suffer only. That's all. The price is already paid. Your suffering is your price. But if your ego very small, you play the game in a very interesting manner because inside this duality, this dream, this samsara, duality is a must. Or else you cannot come into the dream. You get me? No? The moment you start dreaming, duality already. Even the Buddha comes in, he has to use duality, what? Correct? Or else how to talk to you? I cannot talk to you, what? Because everything is the middle way. Right? So it's only the matter of the disparity of high and low, right and wrong, good or bad. If you see the vast difference, you want all the good, you don't want all the bad, then we suffer. That's all lah. Actually, very interesting lah. When we know how Buddha nature works, we play the game differently. Remember, we are of infinite potential. That's why whatever path you want to tread, you really want to cultivate, we can. Never give up. Remember the 8 bodhisattvas virtues. Last lesson we talked about. All these virtues, you bring out together with all this yardstick and all the skill. Wow, very meaningful. You come to this samsara. Coming to samsara, not, grow up, get a degree, get a good job, give birth, marry, give birth children, grow old, die. Wow, this is very different, no? Compared to that journey. But these mundane worldly experiences are the structure built for us to start to cultivate, You cannot cultivate with emptiness. You must have something happening. Like for example, economy no good, something happened to your office, now want you to chow, wow, so tough, this kind of thing. But this is interesting. This is life. So when you have too much guilt because you thought everything is so real, never mind, everybody has their own journey. So you have to do it, you have to do it. You get me now? Remember all of us are only cartoon. Don't be so serious. Okay? Push our virtues out, practice the skill, use this body until the day when you die. Make sure this body, you really make full use of of a body, and then you die off lah. But the things that you learn, the goodness you gather. That's why this body is only a vehicle. When I heard this, just like my Satya, my first car, I drove it 13 years, altogether 400,000 mileage, I calculated can drive from Earth to Moon. And the car really let me make my money, buy my properties and all these, let me retire early. 13 years, then after that, I discard, goodbye, thank you. That's it lah. Our body is like our car. Come here, use the body to do something meaningful so that you can bring forward to the next life. And this body, goodbye lah. Because we are only cartoon. Seriously, we thought so real, we can touch, we can hold, because of the 4 elements, the seed, the 4 main seeds of elements are inside our consciousness that make things very solid, very heavy, very tough. Actually, we are holograms. That's why the ghosts can walk past you one. Because actually we are transparent one. But we thought we are very solid. Because of our delusion. Terrible.
Actually, Sister Carol, you talk about hologram, right? I remember my experience was when one time visited Korea. They have this, I don't know, it's 3D things, They have this, all the stars on the stage, and then they're playing from the hologram. And then,
yes.
And then the human being is downstairs, like shouting, like you're looking at the concert, it's like,
they are holograms only. Actually, we are like that, They say we are actually 3D projection from the 2D. It's actually proven. And in fact, graduate who wanted to study physics will have to study this part. It's already inside textbook that we are holograms. That one we will come to it next year. When we talk about the, out of samsara wisdom. Okay, thank you everybody. Okay, thank you. Verse of transference of merits. May the merits I accrue today help me to eliminate my karmic debts. May they support the development of wisdom, which reveals the ultimate truth that all phenomena are mind-made. May the merits also ripen conditions that will distance me from those inverted views of samsara made real by the ego, so as to awaken the deluded mind from this dreamlike world of delusion. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.